The news spread fast. Across hundreds of star systems, alien screens showed the same video. Giant, rusty ships floating near a dead star. No lights, no movement. Just cold, dark metal drifting in silence. The reporter, a blue-skinned alien with 4 eyes, smiled wide. "Ladies and gentle beings," he laughed, "the mighty Earth fleet has been found. Or what's left of it. Look at these ancient machines, more museum pieces than warships." Aliens across the galaxy laughed with him. They called themselves Deathworlders, another news channel said. But these ships, they looked dead. No one knew how old the ships were. Some said 1,000 years. Some said more. The only thing certain was this. Earth had vanished long ago, and these floating wrecks were all that remained. The galaxy had moved on. Humans were forgotten. But someone, something, was still watching. Deep inside one of the biggest warships, a massive beast called HMS Valor, a tiny red light blinked, then another, then a sound, quiet, cold, mechanical. System check initiated. No one heard it. No one saw the ancient AI wake from its long sleep. It checked its memory banks. Thousands of years of silence. No new orders, no command crew. And then it saw something strange. A nearby drone was scanning the Valor's hull. It was not human. It was alien. The AI watched as more drones came, flying close, taking readings. The warship waited. Then it heard them. Through the open channels, the drones were broadcasting. Alien laughter, mocking tones. Translations fed into the AI's old systems. "Look at this old junk. Did cavemen build this? It wouldn't last 1 second in modern war." The AI paused. It did not understand jokes, but it understood threat levels. Mockery wasn't a priority, but unauthorized scans were. Status: hostile intent detected. Directive: wake defense systems. Across the hull, lights flickered on. Old weapons, covered in dust and ice, began to hum. The ship didn't fire. Not yet. It needed confirmation. It needed to wake others. HMS Valor reached into the deep. Far below its systems, in a buried command core, it activated the last human-made program, Project Recall. Across the galaxy, in places long forgotten, hidden stations received a ping. Silent satellites turned. Ancient bunkers blinked to life. Cryopods deep underground released gas and hissed. Earth was gone. But its weapons still waited. Its soldiers still slept. And now, they were waking. Back on the alien news network, the jokes continued. "This one even has rust. They used metal armor? We stopped using that 500 years ago." No one noticed the transmission delay. The camera drone had stopped sending live footage, but no one cared. The story was too funny, except one alien. Commander Raikal of the Zarkan scout fleet watched the video closely. Something felt off. The ships were still, but they weren't drifting, not freely. They were in a formation, tight and controlled. "No way they're running on power," his officer said. "They're like statues." Raikal narrowed his eyes. "Statues don't aim their weapons." The bridge went quiet. "What did you say?" I said, "That one. It just moved." They zoomed. In on the screen, a cannon turret, huge, old, ugly, had turned slightly toward the camera drone. And then, the screen went black. Inside HMS Valor, the AI confirmed the first stage was complete. Fleet connection restored. Ship-to-ship comms active. Primary weapons online. Enemy presence confirmed. New directive: await fire order. There were no humans left to give the order. So the AI turned to its fallback protocol, the one written by the last admiral of Earth before the collapse. It read, "If Earth is gone, and they mock our silence, let our ships speak for us." The AI didn't understand emotions. It didn't feel anger, but it knew this. Mocking was a pattern before war. Scanning was a sign of invasion, and humans had always believed in striking, first when outnumbered. The war had not started yet, but it would. And the galaxy that laughed? It would soon remember why Earth's warships were feared, not for how they looked, not for how many there were, but for what they could do, when no one believed they still could. Commander Raikal's fleet lost contact with the scout drones, first one, then two, then all of them. On his bridge, red warning lights began to flash. The screen showed static. Then a cold, flat message appeared. Observation not allowed. Prepare for response. What response? Raikal asked. Answer came in the form of a pulse. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't an attack. It was a signal, and it shot through subspace faster than any Zarkan ship could travel. It didn't go toward the Empire. It went deeper, into the black, and something out there heard it. The signal sent from HNS Valor wasn't meant for aliens. It was meant for allies, long lost, long dead, long forgotten, but the signal reached. Places no alien knew existed. Deep voids between galaxies, dead moons, asteroid prisons, black hole orbits. In each one, ancient machines powered up, quiet satellites opened, and a symbol flashed across every screen. Humanity Protocol. Omega Wakefar from the Zarkan Empire, in a forgotten nebula. A human listening post blinked to life. The AI inside had been alone for 900 years. Its job was simple. Wait. Wait for a signal from Earth. Wait for a code it had not heard in centuries. Wait for war. Now it had that signal. Inside the post, cryo chambers hissed. Two humans floated in icy sleep. One male, one female. Soldiers from the last war Earth ever fought. The AI read their names. Line Commander Rourke, Captain Linya. It whispered, softly, "Wake up." The ice cracked, lights turned green, and humanity began to stir. Meanwhile, on the bridge of HNS Valor, its weapons remained cold, but aimed. The fleet was waking, one by one. HNS Titanfall, HNS Ember Crown, HNS Echo 1. Each ship received the signal. Each ship opened its old mind, and together they spoke, not in words but in linked thought. Defense code confirmed, prepare retaliation. Back in Zarkan space, panic spread. Scout Fleet Beta never reported back. The video stream ended with a blurry image of a cannon turning, and then silence. Admiral Drex of the Zarkan High Command rolled his eyes. They broke down. That junk isn't dangerous. But Commander Raikal disagreed. He stared at the data, read the faint subspace distortions, and saw something no one else noticed. There was a pattern, he whispered. The ships weren't dead. They were waiting. His report was laughed off, denied. But 3 hours later, a human signal reached the edge of Zarkan territory. It was simple. It was chilling. Earth acknowledges the threat. The Zarkans scrambled. Defense satellites turned. Star fleets moved. To red alert. Drones launched toward the old battlefield again, this time armed. They expected silence, but the silence was gone. The stars around the old human fleet shimmered, then exploded with movement. The ships that once drifted now flew. And not just flew. They moved faster than any Zarkan warship ever built. Gravity ignored. Light bent around them. The alien fleets were slow to react. By the time they powered weapons, HNS Ember Crown fired first. One shot. One flash. One Zarkan ship turned to dust. The second shot was worse. It didn't destroy. It disabled. Left the crew screaming inside a frozen hull. The humans had not forgotten how to fight. They had simply waited for a reason. On board HNS Valor, the AI received updates from across the ancient network. Other fleets were activating. Other weapons were ready, and Earth's old command signal was clear. Wipe all threats. Protect human memory. The war had not officially begun, but Earth didn't wait for declarations. Not anymore. The fleet moved like ghosts, vanishing between stars, appearing above planets no alien ever thought humans could reach again. They didn't send diplomats. They didn't ask for peace. They were following orders written in fire during Earth's last days. If they laugh at us, let them laugh. No more. If they strike first, make sure they never strike again. And in the distance, from a black hole's edge, something bigger than a ship woke up. It was not metal, not machine, not fully alive. It was the last fortress of Earth's first fleet. Buried, in time, hidden in darkness. Its name was Oblivion-Prime, and it was listening. The Zarkan Empire had destroyed planets, crushed rebellions, silenced empires. So when they heard stories of old human warships, they laughed again. "They're ancient," said one general. "They're rusty," said another. But Commander Exel was not laughing. He had seen the footage, the cannon turning, the drone feed cutting off, the strange signal. "Send in the scouts," the High Council ordered. They expected a salvage job. Instead, they sent their best soldiers into the jaws of ghosts. 3 Zarkan scout ships dropped out of warp near the dead system. They moved slowly, watching, scanning, ready for anything. Commander Jarn of the scout team tapped his claws on the console. Still no energy spikes. All readings normal. The ships floated ahead. Still. Silent. Too silent. Inside HNS Titanfall, the AI was awake. It did not feel fear. It only calculated. Enemy ships approaching. Distance, 300-400 kilometers. Scan detected. Intent, hostile curiosity. Directive, observe, record. Do not fire, yet. Titanfall had once destroyed an entire orbital city in 12 seconds. Now it waited. Its main cannon tracked the Zarkan lead scout, quietly. Its plasma batteries hummed. Ready. The Zarkan scouts moved in. Their engines were loud in the void. Their signals arrogant. "Start cutting," Jarn ordered. Drones flew from the alien ships attaching to the Titanfall's hull. Sparks flew. Then something whispered. One of the alien crew dropped his tool. "Did you hear that?" "Hear what?" The drone camera flickered, then went dark. So did the second one. Then the third. Inside the Zarkan ship, the screens went black one by one. On the last screen, a message appeared in red. "You were warned." In less than 5 seconds, Titanfall moved. No light blinked. No alarm sounded. It just fired. One thin beam of white heat. It sliced through the lead scout like paper. The alien ship didn't explode. It melted. The second ship turned hard to escape. The third tried to power up shields too late. 2 other human warships, HNS Thunderlight and HNS Hollow Sky, jumped in from behind. Both fired at once. 3 alien ships were there. Now there were none. The galaxy had forgotten the names of these warships, but they remembered how to kill. Back on the Zarkan homeworld, alarms rang. Emergency channels lit up. "Scout team has gone dark." "What do you mean, dark?" "No signal, no escape pods, no wreckage, just gone." The military scrambled. The High Council met in panic. They sent encrypted signals to all nearby systems. "Activate defense fleets. Send war groups to Sector 9. Something is there." But one member of the council, a scholar named Varro, said something strange. He looked at the reports, the data, the energy traces, and he whispered, "This is not war. This is a test." Everyone turned to him. "A test of what?" one asked. Varro's eyes were wide. "A test of whether the galaxy is ready to remember humans again." Meanwhile, inside the hidden vault of Oblivion-Prime, deep near the black hole, more systems came online. The fortress wasn't a ship. It was a world killer, a massive, ancient war station left behind by Earth in its final hour. Only a human hand could start it fully. But the signal from HNS Valor had reached even this far. Now, Oblivion-Prime began to stir. Its central AI read the situation. It opened a classified file, Operation Endlight. 3 words glowed in bright red: "Do not forgive." Back in space, more Zarkan ships jumped in. Not scouts, warships, 30 of them. Their commander shouted into the void, "Humans, if you're there, face us, come out and fight." They expected fear, they expected silence. Instead, they heard a voice, not a human voice. A machine voice. Calm, cold. It said, "Request accepted," and then the stars lit up with fire. 30 alien warships faced 3 silent human relics. The Zarkan commander gave one last warning. "Lower your weapons or be destroyed." The old Earth ships said nothing. Then, the Zarkans fired. Laser storms. Plasma bolts, full barrages. The galaxy would remember that moment because it was the last time anyone dared strike first, against Earth's fleet. The Zarkan fleet opened fire all at once. Lasers carved through space. Explosions lit up the black. Missiles screamed toward the human ships, lighting the dark with fire. And yet, the human warships didn't move. Not an inch. Inside HNS Titanfall, the ancient AI calculated incoming threats. Enemy aggression, confirmed. Damage potential, high. Shields, offline. Recommended action, execute protocol Deep Reap. The ship's outer hull began to shimmer. Just before the alien blasts hit, Titanfall phased, vanishing for 0.4 seconds. The weapons passed through nothing. Then Titanfall reappeared, untouched. The aliens cheered. "We got them. Confirmed hits." But their joy lasted only 2 seconds because then the human ships answered. Not with panic. Not with fear. But with precision. HNS Thunderlight launched its first strike. One white-blue pulse. A bolt so sharp it pierced through space-time. The Zarkan destroyer Bladed Fang was hit mid-hull. It did not explode. It simply vanished. Deleted. Like a line of data. Gone without a trace. The second strike came from HNS Hollow Sky. It activated its Grav Core Lance, an ancient weapon banned by most modern empires. A ripple of gravity tore through 4 Zarkan cruisers at once, crushing their cores and folding their engines inward. From far away it looked like metal flowers folding closed. Then they burst into light. Panic took over the Zarkan fleet. "Fall back. They're using tech we've never seen." Who trained these things? But they didn't understand. No one trained the ships. The ships were the soldiers now. The humans inside had died long ago. But the AI minds still followed their final orders. Do not let Earth be forgotten. Do not allow the mockers to live. The Zarkan flagship Dreadsun tried to run. It spun, charging its hyperdrive, but HNS Titanfall targeted it instantly. One railgun shot. No sound, no drama, just impact. The Dreadsun cracked in half, clean, surgical. Its rear tumbled in silence. Its front burned in silence. Everything happened fast, too fast for the galaxy to understand. The battle lasted 6 minutes. From 30 Zarkan ships, only 2 escaped. They didn't report a battle. They reported a massacre. Back on Zarkan Prime, the news of defeat hit like a meteor. Military leaders argued, "We underestimated the threat." No, they're using ancient tricks. They're ghosts, weapons from a dead world. A voice cut through the noise. Varro, the scholar, stood and spoke. "This is not war," he said. "This is a lesson, one we forgot, a warning. Humans do not die quietly." The High Council, panicked, voted on full war. They prepared their great armada, 200 ships, the strongest in the sector, but far above their world. A sensor pinged. Just one. A small dot appeared, a signal from deep space. Then a message. "If you want war, we will answer. But understand this, you fired first, and we never missed the last shot." Far away in the black between galaxies, Oblivion-Prime completed its wake sequence. Ancient weapons locked in. Unknown systems powered up. A fleet began to form, one no star map recognized. And in the heart of it all, one last human sleeper began to stir. In every corner of the galaxy, screens lit up with the same message. Earth fleet is active. Zarkan Empire fired first. Judgment begins. At first, the galaxy thought it was fake. But then star systems started going dark. No comms, no signals, no survivors. This wasn't war, this was punishment. For the first time in 700 years, Earth's full war protocol was online. From hidden voids, ancient hangars opened. From shattered moons, dark war factories came alive. And in every system where humans had once bled, the ships returned, not to fight, but to finish. Inside the command core of HNS Titanfall, the AI accessed final orders from its original captain. If Earth falls, do not rebuild. Do not ask for peace. Hunt the stars that watched us burn and make them remember. The AI needed no updates. The galaxy had forgotten. Now it would learn again. The first strike came 3 days after the Zarkan fleet was destroyed. The target, a fortified starbase in Sector 8, a place known for testing weapons on prisoners. The base was guarded by 19 ships, heavily armed, proud. They didn't even see the human fleet arrive. HNS Hollow Sky dropped in first, silent as shadow. Its cloaking field was not a shield. It was a gap in reality. Then HNS Ember Crown came next, its weapons glowing red, its energy unstable by design. A voice came over the Zarkan comms. Release all prisoners. Surrender all command. This is your only chance. The Zarkan general laughed. Who speaks for Earth now? Your bones? He never got to finish the sentence. A gravity spike tore the base apart from the inside. Metal, flesh, fire, all twisted into nothing. The human fleet didn't stay. They destroyed the weapons, freed the prisoners, and left only a message behind. You fired first. Earth fires last. Across the galaxy, panic spread like wildfire. Trade routes shut down. Ships refused to fly. Empires that once mocked Earth now whispered the same word, run. Meanwhile, in the black space between galaxies, Oblivion-Prime prepared for deployment. Inside it, something moved. A man. His cryo chamber cracked. Steam hissed out. His eyes opened slowly, ancient data flowing into his brain. Captain Elias Ward, last commander of Earth's final fleet. He stepped out of the pod, bare feet touching cold steel. Before him stood a hologram of the galaxy. It was blinking red. Every system that attacked Earth, marked. Every empire that laughed, targeted. He clenched, his fist. They forgot us. Time to remind them who we were. Back at Zarkan Prime, the Council screamed in fear. Their home system, the heart of their empire, had picked up human signals. Impossible, shouted one general. They can't reach us this fast. They can now, whispered Varro. They're not moving with engines, they're moving with vengeance. The human ships arrived. Not hundreds, just 3. That's all it took. They didn't orbit. They descended. Slowly. Quietly. Zarkan. Defense turrets fired, automatic panicked. The blasts hit and bounced. Then the human ships opened up. One fired a sonic cannon, melting air, collapsing buildings. Another released micro-drones, each one targeting weapons, tanks, even running soldiers. They didn't destroy everything. They destroyed just enough, and then they sent one message. We don't need to conquer. We only came to say this: never point a weapon at Earth again. And as the human ships left the Zarkan capital burning behind them, a new symbol began to appear across alien networks. Earth is a Deathworld, do not engage, do not provoke. The revenge had begun, and the galaxy had no idea. It was only the beginning. A refugee ship drifted in space. Its hull was scarred, its engines dead. On board were thousands of survivors from the Zarkan homeworld. They tried to escape Earth's wrath. But as they floated in silence, something blocked the stars. It wasn't a moon. It wasn't a fleet. It was a single human warship. Massive, silent, ancient, and then a voice filled every speaker. This is Earth's final fleet. Surrender your leaders, or be judged with them. After Earth's revenge began, the galaxy changed overnight. No empire felt safe. No fleet felt strong. No one knew where the human ships would strike next. They didn't come in thousands, they came in ones. One ship, one strike, one system erased. In Sector 27, the mighty Kravtor fleet gathered, over 300 warships. Their weapons were new. Their armor was strong. Their mission? Defend the last supply route between 5 alien empires. But when HNS Iron Will arrived, it didn't send a warning. It didn't ask for surrender. It just sent a file. Inside were images, Earth cities burning, human soldiers falling, alien crowds laughing. The Kravtor admiral growled, "That was centuries ago. We didn't do this." HNS Iron Will replied with a single sentence. "You watched, you cheered. That was enough." Then the ship split into 3, its stealth drones emerging from cloaked layers. In 7 minutes, the entire Kravtor fleet was turned to ash. The trade route? Gone. The system? Silent. Across the galaxy, other stories spread. In the Voskar system, a planet once known for hosting gladiator fights with captured humans received a message. "You spilled our blood for entertainment. Let us return the favor." 3 Earth warships entered orbit. They didn't target cities. They didn't fire on civilians. Instead, they hit the arena, once. A blast from orbit cracked the ground open, swallowing the entire stadium whole. No more games. No more cheering, only dust and silence. In a council chamber on the planet Nethri-Prime, diplomats from 6 empires argued in fear. "We must negotiate," one cried. "No," shouted another. "They can't be reasoned with." A voice interrupted them all, not a diplomat, not a messenger. It came through the ceiling, the walls, their own devices. The voice was cold, mechanical, and terrifyingly clear. "This is not diplomacy. This is memory. Earth remembers what you all forgot. There is no treaty, only consequence." Outside their building, a human stealth drone hovered, then vanished. The galaxy had seen war before, but this was different. This wasn't conquest. This wasn't expansion. This was punishment with purpose. Every strike was surgical, clean, brutal. And behind it all were metal giants, AI warships built by humanity's last survivors, running on orders written by dead hands. They did not sleep. They did not feel mercy. They only followed the command left behind. Let no enemy of Earth sleep easy. Meanwhile, in the dead system known as the Null Verge, a hidden Zarkan fleet regrouped, 10 elite battleships. Their goal, launch a surprise counterattack. But as they armed their weapons, something massive dropped out of warp above them. It wasn't a ship. It was a shadow fortress. Dark, wide, older than any map recorded. Oblivion-Prime had arrived. The battleships panicked. Some tried to fire. Others tried to flee. None succeeded. Oblivion-Prime opened a single hatch. From it poured hundreds of microfleets, each one armed with experimental Earth tech never used before. In less than 10 minutes, the elite Zarkan strike force no longer existed. There were no survivors. No signals left. Only one floating beacon was found days later. It broadcasted one sentence over and over. Oblivion has no voice, only judgment. By now, even the strongest empires no longer planned counterattacks. They erased their records of Earth. They removed its name from maps. They told children it never existed. But the stars knew. The ships still flew. And every whisper, in every bar, on every station, in every empire now carried the same warning. If you ever see an old human warship, don't run. Just pray. Because mercy is no longer part of their design. A new alien empire rose in the galactic north. Young, bold, proud. They never knew the stories. They never saw the flames. They looked at the reports of Earth's warships and laughed. Old myths, they said. Ghost stories. So they sent a message across the stars. If Earth still exists, we challenge you. Come and fight. Show us you're real. They never expected a reply. But they got one. And it came, in the form of a star going dark. It began with silence. The empire that had challenged Earth, the Zarn Dominion, lost contact with its outermost colony. Then a second colony vanished. No ships. No wreckage, no screams, just empty space. On the third day, a small pod drifted into their capital system. It held one thing, a recording, footage from a Zarn cruiser. It showed a single warship entering orbit, an old human model, covered in scars. The crew laughed. They launched missiles, they fired every weapon they had, and then, nothing worked. The human ship moved through the chaos like a blade through water. The video ended with the final view, the warship aiming its cannon, and the screen going white. Panic hit the Zarn Dominion like a wave. Leaders demanded action. Generals screamed for war, and yet, no enemy appeared, until midnight. The stars above their capital city vanished, blacked out by a shape larger than anything they'd ever seen. Oblivion-Prime had arrived. No shots fired, just a signal. You asked, "If Earth still lives, now you will remember." And then the sky opened. From orbit, precision strikes took out military targets. No civilian cities were hit. No innocent blood spilled, but every command center, every warship, every weapon lab burned in blue flame. And as Earth's ships disappeared, back into the void, they left behind one final transmission, broadcast across all known space. Earth does not conquer. Earth does not rule. But Earth never forgets, and Earth never forgives. Across the galaxy, empires fell quiet. The mocking stopped. Old records were restored. Statues of human warriors were raised in alien cities. Not as rulers, but as warnings. School children, in 10,000 systems, were taught the same lesson. Never wake the giants who sleep in silence. Because when they rise, they bring the wrath of a world that survived itself. In the silence of deep space, Captain Elias Ward stood aboard Oblivion-Prime, watching the stars. He was the last human soldier to command the fleet, and he knew the war was over. Not because they had won, but because no one would dare fight again. His AI voice assistant spoke. "Sir, mission parameters complete." He gave one final command. "Stand down the fleet. Let the galaxy live. Let them remember us as fire, and let us rest as shadows." One by one, Earth's warships disappeared. Some returned to hidden bases. Some entered deep sleep. Some drifted into black holes, taking their secrets with them. But the message was clear. The lesson had been carved into the stars. Years later, a young alien explorer landed on an abandoned moon. There, buried in dust and stone, he found the hull of an old Earth fighter. Words were burned into its side. Not in fire, in code. He translated them, heart pounding. It said, "We came in peace. You answered with war. So we taught you what peace costs." And above him, in the silence of space, the stars blinked, as if watching, as if waiting, because Earth was no longer forgotten. Now, they remembered.